Hello and welcome to Awake TV episode 4. So welcome back. Thank you for all the messages and the comments from my previous episode. I really appreciate that. It got a lot of conversation going, so this was great. More people are talking about this. It's coming out more and more as to what's really happening. So welcome back, and today's episode, kind of good news really. So talking about disclosures, global shifts, and the fact that the 3D matrix system is crumbling like a cookie. So I think, if you're anything like me, you might have had a pretty intense couple of weeks, right? So wherever you are in the world, a lot of intensity is coming up, a lot of disclosures, a lot of information is coming in, right? And it's definitely taking, you might find that it's taking more energy, it's taking more brain cells, right, as you're trying to process and decipher the information. So just in light of all the intensity, I want to shine a little bit of a light today on where we're headed, because sometimes it feels like things are going to shit, but actually there's a method to this madness that's happening. So I want to just kind of touch in with you today, so if you're not aware, you can understand where we're shifting, what's behind, again, all of the kind of crumbling of all the things that we know, and it can feel very chaotic, So welcome to Awake TV. I'm Marie Fleming Grant, and I'm founder of the Awake Revolution, and I am absolutely here on this planet to help you drop the baggage, wake up to the real you, and revolutionize how you think, feel, and create. All of those things are connected, and you are not here to settle. You are here to be the most amazing version of what you came here to be. This is what it's about. So we'll just sort of start with some disclosures. I'm not gonna, the purpose of this video isn't to go into any of the dark details, all right? So I'm probably gonna do a separate video at some point around some of this, but I think at the moment I'm just gonna touch on it because my purpose here is not to traumatize you with the details. It's more to guide you into maybe your own research and shine a bit of a light onto the fact that these things are happening and they are coming out. So if you've been following any social media, you're going to have seen things, maybe come across videos, articles, little snippets of things that are starting to come into the consciousness around this whole child trafficking, human trafficking issue. So I've definitely watched quite a few documentaries, various videos, I've done research. The more you go down the rabbit hole on this, the more you're going to find pretty disturbing stuff. So there's no way around this. You might even just read an article with just a few sentences and it's enough to make you feel sick and disgusted, maybe even low, full of anxiety and fear. So I don't want to go into that today, but I just want to draw your attention to the fact that these stories that are coming through are very much based on fact. They're very much based on the realities that are going on behind the scenes. The way I like to comfort myself with this, and I've had some real dark times with this myself when I've really gone into the detail, is to kind of remind myself and remind you that this stuff isn't new. Very sadly, the stuff with children, the depravity, the level to which this world is engaged with it, it isn't new. It's been going on for centuries. But also in our lifetime, it's been going on the whole time behind the scenes with people that we look up to. So it isn't that the world is getting worse, and this is really important. It's the fact that we are awakening to it, and it's all coming up and out for us to start to look at it, like I said before, so we can actually take a stand and say, no, we are not operating in the world with this going on. So you can forgive yourself, if by reading certain articles and researching, you're finding your vibration go lower because you're brokenhearted, right, about what has been happening. So just reminding yourself that it's not getting worse, it's just coming to light, all right? So that really helps me, and I hope it does help you if you are struggling with this, because this stuff is dark, and it's probably, I think, whatever we agree on, I think we're unanimously in agreement, I'd say most of the planet would be, minus a few psychopaths, that this is not okay. This is not, doesn't matter what your political, preference, your gender, your age, your background, this is not okay. So this stuff is coming to light. The other disclosure that you might have noticed is that we're starting, again, creeping into the mainstream awareness are certain names of people. So we've got celebrities, high profile people. Some of them, when you hear them, they're going to break your heart, because they're going to be people that you looked up to. There'll be people that you watched their movies and you loved their whole energy, right? You know, you loved what they represented, what you thought they represented. So just to shine a light that there are many, many disclosures coming through, political figures, you know, performers, actors, in every industry, in every single sector, or often more shocking when they're big name figures, right? So these are coming into our awareness. Same as the dark, satanic, ritualistic stuff. You know, we've been programmed, again, I mentioned in the last video, we've been programmed to have this in our psyches, in our awareness, in the background, embedded into things. However, at the same time, a lot of people disbelieve it. It sounds like made up stuff, right? And if you start using the word satanic, people start maybe questioning and thinking you're, you know, like a religious fanatic, or, you know, that kind of connotation. This stuff is real. You know, you only have to hear testimonies of young children. I watched something recently. There's no way when you hear this, if you tune in, you will discredit those people. You will know that these children are speaking from their truth. They're talking from their own experiences. So these things go on in the world, I'm afraid. It's the truth. So it's just about, when they come into our awarenesses, we can just look at them and, you know, understand that it's not made up. It isn't. It's so easy to reject that. The more outrageous it sounds, the more despicable it sounds, we reject it, right? Because we're good humans. We don't want to even contemplate that that stuff goes on, but it does. So disclosures are coming out, but this is okay. We're needing this. It's like a purge at the moment, a global purge. It's coming up so we can see it, shine a light on it, transmute it, and then move through it. Unfortunately, we can't move around it, above it, below it. We have to move through it. So this is why this is all coming out. Again, more disclosures, vaccine ingredients, right? Contents of things, what's really behind it. New World Order is starting to show itself. We're starting to see our human rights and our freedoms slowly. They're ramping it up now, bringing it in more and more and more. It's starting to become apparent. The disclosures are coming out. So I see this as a good thing. And I'm not saying that when it comes out and we witness it, it's going to be pleasant or pretty, but it needs to come out. So the fact that it's all coming up and out, celebrate that if you can. Understand that it's going towards something better, and we have to go through it to change, right? If you're conscious in any way, you're going to know that this planet is not the way we need it to be. Too many people are enslaved, right? Debt, health, family stuff, complete and utter major stress and anxiety and depression. Our mental health issues are on the rise, despite the fact that we've got technology that's supposedly bringing us closer together and helping us to be more connected. We are not doing it right. The reason we're not doing it right is not through our choices. It's more to do with the fact that it's very deliberate to keep our frequencies down. So wherever we're going, it's a kind of an attack on our frequencies. Check out the last video, episode 3, where I talked about the programming, the different types that are being carried out, almost like attacks against us, right? So this is all coming out. The other thing that's being exposed are the contradictions, right? So sometimes I'm really angry about them. Sometimes I can just laugh at them. You know, let me just use mask wearing, for example. You know, in the UK, at least anyway, we've got, you know, masks are to be, as from tomorrow, 24th of July, as I'm recording this, masks are mandatory in shops, but the retail staff don't have to wear them. That's allowed. We don't have to wear them in pubs, but we do on public transport. There's all these contradictions, right? And more people are starting to wake up and go, hang on, that does not make any kind of sense. It doesn't make any kind of sense because it doesn't make any kind of sense. It is not based on anything to do with our health, our safety. It's completely opposite, right? It's complete opposite. So these contradictions are being exposed. These disclosures are coming out. We need them to. And what's happening is we're going through these global shifts, right? So how we do things if you've noticed, if you're functioning in the world, of course you would have noticed this, is that the way we're doing things are now having to change. We're going to have to get more conscious around decisions we're making, choices we are choosing, choices we're making, being more conscious as consumers, right? I'll give you an example. So I posted about this today about my hair. I really need to get a haircut, desperately needing one. I cut my own hair actually a couple of months ago, but I really need to go back. And I had my usual salon and I went back and they were automatically following, the fact that you've got to wear a mask, you've got to do this, you've got to track and trace all this stuff. And I consciously decided, I said, okay, to myself, I'm not going to participate in that. That's not a program I choose to participate in. So I'm going to hold off. I'm going to set my intention that I'm going to live the kind of life that I want to live, and I choose freedom all the time. And today I found a hairdresser's, a salon that had no problem. I explained, I'm not going to wear a mask. I have my own private reasons for that. They don't, no one's supposed to ask you what they are anyway. And I was able to book an appointment for a few days and no signing up to, giving my details so I can be tracked and traced by the government. I'm not choosing to do it. There's no legal requirement to do that here in the UK, at least. I can't speak for other countries, but there is no legal requirement to do that. So I'm choosing not to participate. So we're choosing how we're living, we're moving into different ways of being. I imagine we're going to have to make lots of different decisions when different things start coming in. So it's pushing us all to open our eyes, wake up to how we're living instead of this autopilot living, right? And I know this because this is how I used to live years ago. Before I got into my current work, I used to be a child protection lawyer in London. It was very like fast paced, stressy, very, very serious stuff. But it was like autopilot. Every day I'd be getting up, going to work, very autopilot living until I got incredibly ill and had to stop, and then went through a huge transformation and woke up, right? Basically woke up from this sort of autopilot. So this is what's happening right now on a global scale. So it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable, and you might even be struggling yourself. And if you are, that is okay. That is completely okay. It's very normal. So just be gentle with yourself, but just understand that it's necessary. What's going to be happening is there'll be a kind of splitting off. You might see it already with the masks and the non-mask wearing. There's going to be a sort of splitting off, not so far, I'm not talking physically, I'm more talking a splitting off energetically, where you're going to have sort of different vibrations of people, right? Those that are choosing these things to play in, those that are choosing these things to play in. I'm not talking about division, although it is a form of division. I'm talking about, it's more like an elevation of, we're going to move into a higher consciousness. That's where we all need to go. So there'll be a splitting off between people that are they're going to stay where they have always been, unfortunately, but there are going to be people that are going to break away from this matrix program that has been running for a really long time, and we're going to move somewhere else. So it's like we're all co-creating. So every time we speak, every time we share, every time we connect with each other online, which is filling my heart with joy right now with how much that's happening. Every time we do that, we're co-creating and we're helping this whole global shift, right? So don't underestimate the power of your individual choices every day. Some of you are going to be called to march and demonstrate and protest, right? And make noise, but some of you won't. It's not always about that. There are lots of ways to powerfully help shift the global consciousness. So don't underestimate if you're quietly doing it within your own self at home through your choices every day. You are absolutely creating this, right? So we're all in this together. And if you're still watching, if you're still here with me, you are part of this. You're not watching this for no reason. You've taken the time to listen, and I really appreciate that. But you're part of this. You wouldn't be watching and listening to anything like this if you weren't. So don't underestimate, even if you're just going to the shops and living your life in a simple way, you're still part of this global shift. So just appreciate that in yourself as well. So that's what's happening. So it's crumbling like a cookie. I am excited about that. I really, really, with all my heart, 100% mind, heart, body and soul, fully believe and trust that we are moving somewhere. I know this within myself, perhaps you do too. If you don't, that's okay. Borrow my beliefs for now until you have your own. But just know that we are absolutely in the midst of the great awakening. We are, and you can feel it. If you just stop and take a breath, you will feel that there's something massive happening this year, right? This isn't a normal period of humanity. It is huge. So congratulate yourself for being here. You're part of it. Just be sure to look after yourself, right? So it's really, really important as we're going through this. I'll do another separate thing about this perhaps soon, to really take care of yourself, right? So mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, really, really bringing your attention back to you, because it's so important right now. We need to keep our frequencies up. It doesn't mean we're keeping our frequencies up and being positive 24/7. Take that pressure off. I most certainly am not positive 24/7. There are some days I get really angry, frustrated, sad. There's been lots of tears. I've released them. But what I allow myself to do is feel it, be in it, let it process, and then move forward. So my vibration is allowed to kind of stay up, right? So that's what I definitely recommend. So this is good, all right? Disclosures are happening. It's tough, it's dark, but they're happening. They're coming out, they're coming up. We're shining the light. We're having global shifts, and we are going to crumble this down. We are breaking this down. The wrecking ball is coming in and smashing through all the structures that we have lived with for way too long, and they've been built on really, really dark, low vibrational energies. We are done with that now. It's 2020. We're going somewhere else. So stay strong. We're going to get through this. It's going to be an amazing thing, but it's not going to be easy. So just look after yourself. So on that note, for any of you, depending on where you're watching this video, for any of you who are on Facebook, I do have a Facebook group. So just have a search. It's the Awake Revolution. It's a private group. So come and join if you want to be part of a really little community online where not so much politics on there, but it's going to be all the stuff I talked about, how to keep your vibration up, all the inner work, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, to keep you really strong so that you can revolutionize, like I said, how you think, feel and create. So if you want to join that, feel free, come and find me on Facebook. So that's it for now. Sending you lots of love. Do take care of yourselves, and I will be with you in the next episode very soon. So bye for now. Take care.